All right, so welcome everybody to the first edition of the Pizza Palace.
Welcome to the Pizza Palace, everybody. Get your coupons. Get
You did
your
it a second
Parmesan.
time, huh?
you
You
know,
loved that bit so much you had to keep it on. You had the opportunity to revise it. You had the opportunity to not do the bit.
I had the opportunity to redeem myself.
And you fucking made it worse.
Listen, I loved it. Everyone in the room loved it so much
They didn't.
the first time.
I promise you.
Seeing that it's two of us, I think I know. I can read the room right now. It's working.
So this podcast is going to be basketball-ish, essentially.
Yeah.
And
Basketball light.
yeah, there's going to be some basketball, mostly us just dicking around. Primarily your channel up to this point has been very, not serious as if it's like, murder, but like serious basketball content that's, not a lot of frills and not a lot of, tangents and that kind of thing or whatever. So this is kind of going to be the after hours type vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Sure. Yeah. And speaking to that a little bit, you might be going on, oh, hey, cool, these guys look fun, but why is there a second basketball podcast on here? Well, to put it best, From Half Court is where, me and Troy, that's still going to be happening every week. We sit down and geek everything basketball.
And because you actually know basketball, and I very much am learning.
Yeah, but that's the other piece is like, you love the game, and so like you love talking about the pieces that you know and the pieces that you see, and like this can also be like an education guide. We could talk about basketball, and like I can tell you stories and teach you stuff, but also you have the keys to the car, and so this is it's like you have the keys to the car, and From Half Court is the garage. You know what I mean? Where
I do know what you mean.
Where it's still I'm
gonna get
channel.
deep in the garage.
Yeah, I don't like that. So we're gonna be we're still gonna be talking hoops on this channel all the time, and we're gonna be talking hoops here too. But we're also going to be talking about whatever the heck we want because that's what we do here. So
indeed. And I think the best basketball knowledge to talk about first is certainly Jon Gruden.
Yeah, that
basketball guy.
That really dropped a bombshell in the NBA community. Everything that happened with Jon Gruden. Yep.
Yeah, first of all, in memoriam to Spider 2 I Banana, rest in peace. One of the great schemes in football is now officially gone.
Dude, one of our favorite jokes is officially dead.
It was dead before this, but you kept it going, and now its rotting corpse can finally be buried.
Hey, I resent that. It was a good joke. Knock on wood if you're with me, man.
It was good in like circa 2017, but that's all right.
Hey, I really liked that one season of Hard Knocks, okay?
Listen, they that joke's about as good as like the 2015 Nashville Predators, something like that. I'm pretty sure that was the last time they were relevant. Is that when they made the Stanley Cup, or was it 2014?
No, you're about right. It was 2015,
it was
2016.
Somewhere in there, yeah. Because that was the last time that you remember a single hockey player, because the other day, a few months ago, you asked me about PK Subban, and he hasn't been relevant in the league for about 3 years.
Yeah, I felt... I could say that the most confident I've ever felt knowing anything about hockey was that one stretch when the Nashville Predators were in the Stanley Cup.
That's brutal.
Once they were no longer in the cup, I was done for.
A team that nobody could possibly give a shit about.
Yeah, Jon Gruden.
All-time dirtbag, eh?
Yeah. So do you kind of want to break this down a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I'll get into the fact that, all right, so essentially what he did
We won't go full details, but...
Yeah, because it doesn't really matter. And if you want to hear it, just go on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
But basically, he said a bunch of racist and sexist and misogynistic shit. And he also, I saw somewhere, I don't know if it was confirmed or not, but allegedly he was also getting, like, nudes from, like, the cheerleaders of the Redskins.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, well, not, like, from them, but because I guess the ex-president of the Redskins, or I'm butchering this, but the point is that someone that worked for the Redskins.
Okay, yeah. So, all right, I'm with it now. So,
yeah.
So this all stemmed from a investigation into the culture of Washington football team because of all of the mishandling and just everything that went on.
The nightmare that is that franchise.
Yep. And part of that email chain that they were investigating happened to have Jon Gruden as a regular appearance.
Yeah.
And at first, it came out that he said an email that had a racial slur. And it was like, all right, that's not great. This isn't a good look for Jon Gruden.
Sure.
But at that point, that seemed like that was the only one. So it was like, well, it's one email.
And it was from 2011, so people were kind of willing to let it slide a little bit. But once we found out it was like, so the cheerleaders were being forced to take nudes that they didn't want to take by the team's executives on trips. And he was getting some of those photos. There was a lot of gross stuff going on. And he was saying some really horrible stuff, like, basically just saying that F slur was trying to, force teams to draft queers or something. Like, he said, like, some just some heinous things over email. We were like, dude, come on. And the thing that really bothers me about it, and I've got some notes here about it, is, and give me a second. All right, so the big thing that drives me nuts with this is, of all the teams that happened to, I think it's the worst that it happened to the Raiders.
Right.
Because, not just because I'm a fan of the team, but...
Certainly doesn't help.
It doesn't help, but the biggest thing is that the Raiders have a long history of inclusion and being extremely progressive within the NFL.
Right.
And not a lot of people are, like, overly aware of that. So Al Davis, who used to own the team, was unbelievably progressive, ahead of his time. They had the first ever Latino starting quarterback who ended up winning a Super Bowl. I think. I don't remember on him. But they did for sure have the first Latino head coach who won 3 Super Bowls. Now, the Raiders only have won, I think, 4 Super Bowls, and he won 3 of those.
Oh, wow.
So there was that. They also... before the NFL joined the AFL, and it was one thing, they had the first ever black quarterback. But then also after the NFL became a thing, Al Davis drafted the first ever black quarterback.
Right.
So that's a big thing, as well as before, again, back in the 60s, Al Davis refused to play a preseason game in Alabama due to segregation laws there.
Oh, wow. And
then also there was an all-star game for the AFL in New Orleans, and he also refused to play that game because of segregation laws. So, I mean, a lot of that already is showing kind of what the legacy of the team is. But then you get his son, Mark Davis, who currently owns the team. And when everything was starting to happen, 2 years ago with George Floyd, they were one of the first teams to speak out, not only about it, but also in the strongest language and basically condemning the police, more or less, and all this kind of stuff. A lot of teams sent out a very generic response to what happened, but the Raiders were one of the first ones to really, truly say something of any, weight.
Yeah. So the one thing I remember from what they posted from the George Floyd stuff was on the day of the verdict, when the verdict came out, and they posted that photo that said, "I can breathe."
So that was brutal. Yeah. I was hoping we could gloss over that part. Because before that, they were doing really good. And then, they had all the best intentions of the world with that. But
they had great intentions.
Man, yeah, that was a hell of a tweet. Well, anyways, they also, Mark Davis was very open with his team about the fact that he was okay with Colin Kaepernick being the quarterback and them picking him up at any time. He wanted it to be known that he was like the only GM that was okay with hiring him, essentially. They also are currently the first ever NFL team to have an openly gay player starting on the team, because obviously St. Louis had one for a brief period of time, but he never started really.
Right, and that's kind of something that really, kind of one of the unfortunate pieces of this is that there is a player in his locker room that he coached, that he claimed to love and to support, that was gay.
Yeah, that he clearly didn't want in the league.
And he had to, and that player had to read that same report that came out as everybody else. He had to experience that himself. But you had to realize that was his own coach.
Yes.
That said those things about him. Like, what a freaking monster.
Him, as well as, their very easily could be other gay players on the team that aren't as comfortable with coming out.
There's definitely got to be more in the league, 100%.
And then there's also the fact of, with his racially insensitive remarks, he's also got plenty of various, diverse backgrounds on the team, whether it's Latino or black or whatever.
Right.
And also the fact that there's increasingly more female referees that he's been in contact with as there, begins to be more and more in the NFL and that kind of thing. So he's interacted with a lot of these people directly face to face. And, for them to read this is either shocking and devastating if they didn't know, or it's sort of in a way vindicating because they probably knew this shit all along and are like, thank God people know that he's a monster.
My favorite thing was Keyshawn Johnson going on SportsCenter and
that
just
was awesome.
Dude, he was like, I've been telling everybody this guy is a piece of garbage. Like,
that was
this
so
man
awesome.
literally went on live television for a network that he used to work at, where the emails were from his ESPN work email.
It's unbelievable.
And going, man, this guy was a used car salesman all along. And it's like, that was, once I realized it, I can't picture Jon Gruden doing anything else. He's just gonna be like, listen, man, I tell you what, this Toyota Corolla, knock on wood if you're with me, man, it gives better fucking execution, man.
I feel like he's almost so much of a boomer, though, that he probably hates the Toyota Corolla because it's a foreign car.
He drives Fords 100%.
Which is still the funniest thing in the world to me, because I actually work with a few boomers who say shit like this, because I'm just like, dude, you realize that Toyota is the only American car company at this point, right? Because, like, all of their cars are more or less made in Kentucky.
Right.
Whereas, like, Chevrolets are made in Mexico, Fords are made God knows where.
Yeah, Ford is all over.
Probably in hell or something.
Well, Ford's all over.
They suck.
I mean, Ford has some of their stuff in America. Ford has some of their stuff in Mexico.
It's mostly garbage.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, not the countries, but Ford as a brand.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And, I mean, it's just hilarious to me. It's like American car companies, and literally Toyota is the only one that's made here. So it's like, what are we doing?
This podcast is brought to you by Toyota. Bring out the all-new Toyota
the new Toyota Prius.
Prius?
Dude, have you ever watched like a British car show? They say Prius. It's very weird.
British people say Prius?
They do say Prius.
I find that more disturbing than anything I read in Gruden's email. No, I'm kidding. The
Dude,
Gruden email is way worse.
When I used to watch Top Gear, it was weird. They would always pronounce stuff like Prius and stuff like that, and I was always like, what the fuck? I was like, what? It's very weird. I'm like, I don't know if it makes it sound better or worse than Prius. Yeah. Like, Prius is a terrible name, but like Prius, it almost is like, okay.
They both have the distinct honor of just being terrible in their own special way.
It's not ideal. But yeah, so, anyways, the whole thing just really, as a Raiders fan, was disappointing, but also, mostly for the legacy part of it, because like I just said, the Raiders have just really prided themselves on being a very forward-thinking organization when it comes to a lot of social justice. But as a fan, it also is like, thank God, because he signed a 10-year, $100 million contract in 2018, which I hated immediately. I'm like, wait a minute. The guy who stole a championship from Tony Dungy by getting his team essentially on the Buccaneers and then running that team into the ground, getting chased out of town, going and having some good years-ish with the Raiders, and then being an ESPN stooge, that guy we're going to sign for 10 years.
That was the Raiders' plan all along. We got to bring him back. Those years we went 7-9 were the best years we can ever remember. Honestly, though, like, it just felt like, in all seriousness, it just felt like there was always going to be something that was going to bring this down. Like, it was only a matter of time. There was no way in the world that a guy like Jon Gruden, who's as loud and as obnoxious as he is, comes back into the league in the most loud, obnoxious way humanly possible, brings Antonio Brown into the figure, brings everything that he does to
By the way,
Raiders.
Antonio Brown killed it for me on fantasy this week.
Hey, Antonio Brown's looking pretty sane right now.
Yeah, he's weirdly right. He kind of suddenly looks a little vindicated. The Steelers are terrible and the Raiders are bad.
He's looking. Now he's in Tampa. Hey, New England hasn't been the same since he's left.
That's kind of and Tom Brady, but
context. Context. The one game he played for New England. Always.
That's definitely what defined their legacy. Over the past 25 years.
Yeah, better luck next time, Tom.
Absolutely. Yeah, as you'll find out over time, you'll figure out who my favorite sports teams are, and of which there are many, so feel free to make like a spreadsheet for it, or some
Honestly,
sort of chart.
this green screen might have to be reallocated to just
putting logos.
Just as a reminder, like it goes around like a PowerPoint, like it just the list of all of your favorite teams just bounces, and then it's the end of the episode when it bounces right perfectly in the corner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like the. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. All joking aside, I'm the one that edits, so please no. But
yeah, let's not do that. No, but yeah, it's funny because when you look at my favorite teams, at first it's like, oh, he just picks the winning teams, right? But then you start to like see who all is on my list, and you're like, okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
And then you just start to wonder, okay, what the hell is this guy looking for? Like, what is he like? Like,
well, so yeah,
there's no consistency.
Yeah, so this part I'll take over just because
Let's go for it.
Yeah, because I feel like it comes better. You gives you the opportunity to more so explain yourself.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so in the world of baseball,
we
got a couple teams. We got the Yankees.
That's my number one.
Yeah, that's your number
easily,
one.
I guess if there's wife, girlfriend, and then mistress.
Yeah.
For each, because I have about 2 to 3 teams per thing. That's my wife.
Yeah, I'm glad your wife can watch this and see you explain the concept of the wife, friend, and mistress.
Yeah, the wife, girlfriend, mistress.
Yeah,
yes,
100%.
Right.
Yeah,
Wifey, girlfriend, and mistress. Anyways. But the point is.
So anyway, yeah. So like you got the Yankees, but then you got the Mariners. You got the.
The Mariners are my ex-wife. Because that used to be my favorite team. So that's like the divorced wife that I am kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, so then you got the Dodgers.
Yeah, the Dodgers are the girlfriend.
You definitely got the who's your baseball mistress?
I would say the Dodgers might be my mistress because I like them for an almost purely aesthetic thing. It has nothing to do with like their winning or any of that shit. It's just that like I love the look of the Dodgers. I like the history of the Dodgers, and I love the like 1950s sort of like vibe of the stadium, the shape of the scoreboards. Like, superficial garbage that means almost nothing.
Yeah,
I would say probably my girlfriend is the Tigers. It's got to be the Detroit Tigers.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. So, and we won't spend a whole ton of time going it. Yeah. We could do a whole rigmarole about every sport, but I mean, hoops wise, you got. Okay, that we might have to save hoops for last. That one's gonna be
let's save hoops for last.
Yeah, so let's go. So football's easy. We got
the Buccaneers are my wife.
The Buccaneers are your wife. The Raiders are your girlfriend.
Yep.
And then the mistress is an ever-flowing, rotating thing.
It used to be the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And then I think it's probably at this point maybe the Lions, just because there's no one else.
MCDC, Motor City, Dad Campbell, baby.
That's right. I've been a long time Buccaneers fan. I've got a Josh Freeman jersey in my closet. I got a Jameis Winston. Oh yeah, I've got some baggage in that closet. So it was certainly not a Tom Brady thing.
He's legit.
Yeah,
he's legit.
I definitely hated him, and then he came to my team, and now I love him.
And I still hate him. And so then, and now basketball.
Basketball. Yeah, what did we skip? Oh, hockey. We'll do hockey real fast because that one's easy too.
Hockey's quick. Yeah. So your wife, it's the Golden Knights.
Yeah, the Vegas Gold. Well. I think, oh man, I feel like I have 2 wives. I'm like definitely cheating. I've got like a polyamorous thing going.
You're Mormon. You're Mormon when it comes to hockey.
Yes, because it is my favorite sport by far.
Yeah.
And the Detroit Red Wings are the team that I've grown up loving my whole life, and then the Vegas Golden Knights I fell in love with before they even played a game, and then the New York Islanders are my longtime girlfriend. So that's probably the best way that breaks down.
Yeah. So I've thought about this, by the way, segments for when we're talking about our hometown teams.
Sure.
All right. So I got it down for at least the teams that play in the LCA. So if it's the Pizza Palace, when we talk about the Pistons,
right?
When we talk about the Red Wings, it's Caesars on Ice.
That's so brutal.
Isn't
what else?
That good?
Oh, wait, who else plays there? Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the only teams that play there, and then
we need to get a WNBA team again. We need the Shock back.
Yeah, bring back the Detroit Shock.
Yeah.
Dallas doesn't need a team. Screw them.
Really don't.
Well, like the worst part, and like not to get too deep into this, but heck, what the heck? This whole podcast is made to be a rigmarole.
Oh, go Vegas Aces. That's my only WNBA team.
We are a pro WNBA podcast.
We absolutely are.
So the team that we lost, so it's like, you know how Seattle lost a team to Oklahoma City?
Don't remind me, but yeah.
We lost our WNBA team to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh man, That's
They
so
became
brutal.
the Tulsa Shock.
Isn't there a team called the Shock now? Or no, there's the Sparks
Yeah, there used to be. So there was the Tulsa Shock, and then they moved to Dallas
to become the Wings, right?
Yeah, they're the Dallas Wings. Yep. So that was our old team. But then, speaking of hoops, now we're to basketball.
Yes.
So you recently, as far as your wife, you are on your third marriage now when it comes to basketball.
Man, this one's tough because I feel like I'm still.
It's like you got the ring and you're getting cold feet at the altar.
Oh, I definitely am. I'm sitting there going like, yee, because like definitely my wife feels like it's the Chicago Bulls. I feel like
you
they've been my
son of a gun.
I feel like
you
they've been
son of a bitch.
They've been my longtime wife for a long time. I think they might
You
be.
son of a bitch.
I think I might be Mormon in basketball as well, which
So,
is really
okay.
fucked up because like they're in our division, the Pistons
Yeah,
and the
so
Bulls.
so before this season, it was always a meme that Robert was going to say he was just going to give me crap for whatever was happening with the Pistons. That was just the Robert way.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we get the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And Robert's excited.
Yes.
And I'm excited.
Uh-huh.
And we go to Little Caesars Arena to watch Cade Cunningham get drafted on the big screen.
Sure did.
And now you watch Lonzo Ball
Have like 3 preseason
three
games.
preseasons games that you watched clips on Twitter because you definitely didn't actually watch them. And now, all of a sudden,
I'm back in, baby. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
they pull me right back in. So now, as if we had this thing going where you were ready and like...
I still am, but I definitely think it's a Red Wings Golden Knights situation where I think I am just polyamorous. I think I love them both desperately. And I gotta be real honest, and it's a fucked up fair weather thing to say, but I certainly am just hoping that both teams are not good at the same time. Like, I'm just gonna hope that like when the Pistons are really good, the Bulls suck. Would be great. Because certainly the Bulls have been my longest running team as much as I've cheated on them over the years. They are my longest running team that I've liked.
Yeah.
And I've had breakups with teams like the Celtics, the Portland Trailblazers. Like, I've went through some breakups.
Yeah, you were with the Miami Heat.
They're still, I think that's my mistress.
So here's the weird thing with the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
So and another thing you'll notice about Robert, you have quite the timing with when you choose to embark in these relationships because.
Can I take the floor on that?
Yeah, you can take the floor, absolutely,
So
my friend. Go right on ahead.
I'm a Bulls fan, and I come into basketball and decide I'm going to get into it almost as soon as Derrick Rose's knees became pudding. And so those years are very much behind the Bulls at this point, and I decide I'm going to be a Bulls fan. The best thing we had on the team very shortly after was, I don't know, the only guy whose name I could remember was Lopez with the big Carlito from WWE type hair. Just put both of them on the screen. They'll get it.
Robin Lopez.
That guy. And then, you know,
Robin Lopez.
for some reason they bring D Wade into the team, which was okay, I guess. And then they had Jimmy Butler briefly, you know, which was cool. And the team sort of achieved some things, but like it just never quite worked out. And so then the team clearly isn't going to have those guys for much longer. And so I'm like, I'm a head out.
Right.
So I go over to the Celtics and I fall madly in love with Isaiah Thomas, Al Horford, and what I refer to as the shitty Celts. All right. I loved this team so much.
They were a fun team, man. They were a fun team.
I was all in on everyone except Kelly Olynyk, which, by the way, he haunts me everywhere I go, so we'll get to him. And so I'm with the Celtics, and Isaiah Thomas has the greatest postseason run in NBA history. Not true, but definitely for me. He's got a broken hip, essentially. And he's got a dead sister, and he plays anyways. He plays the next day, gives his entire soul to the team, and immediately gets shipped off to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Kyrie Irving, who's a psychopath.
They didn't even wait like a day. It
They
felt like
didn't
it was
even.
like Dude, it was like, it felt like they practically traded him when he was at the service. Like, it was crazy, like, how quick they turned around, because they were like, oh, Isaiah, we can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for the city, for everything that you do for Boston fans, just the culture that you brought us to the Celtics.
He's literally at the wake, and they're handing him the Cavaliers jersey.
Well, yeah, as like, and like, as he's like, you know, in a situation where he's finally about to get paid too, he's about to get rewarded for all that hard work he's put in. He's like, thank you guys. So, how much are you going to pay me? And they're like, oh, you thought you were going to stay?
Dude, he literally tweeted out a picture of like a Brinks truck.
Yeah, he was like, back up the Brinks truck. But that was like a popular saying. And so then he goes to Cleveland and becomes, you know,
worthless.
Yeah, 100%. He goes from Boston to Cleveland, gets bought out from Cleveland. He becomes, he goes to the Lakers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then it just goes downhill from there. Yeah, this was Isaiah Thomas. I think he was there like right before they got Lonzo. I think it was like right before they got Lonzo.
I think it was too.
Yeah.
He might as well play for the big three at this point. I mean, it's over. And I mean, that rubbed me the wrong way so badly. And I was gonna give the Celtics a chance, right? They get Gordon Hayward, they get Kyrie Irving. I'm like, okay, well, we retooled. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
Literally game one.
Oh my God.
Gordon Hayward snaps his ankle, which is the most gruesome and heartbreaking thing I had ever witnessed. In sports.
And like, the thing that sucked was we had literally just bought tickets to go see Gordon Hayward a week before this game.
And Kyrie. Yeah,
like,
at the
whole
LCA.
point was to go see Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving. Like, we were ready to go.
Unbelievable. And so he snaps his leg, and I'm like, all right, that sucks, but I'll ride it out a little longer. And then Kyrie starts to very clearly not want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
So then I no longer wanted to be there. I was like, okay, this team has no idea what it's doing. It has completely made every wrong move possible, and I'm still pissed about Isaiah Thomas, so I'm a head out.
Kyrie don't want to be here. I don't want to be here.
Yes. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the Miami Heat. So I go there when they have their best player at the time was what was it? Something, was it Whitehead or something?
Yeah,
or
it was Hassan Whiteside.
Whiteside, yeah. I keep thinking of the player that played for like the Chargers
like
or something.
Tyre Whitehead or something like that.
I don't remember what the hell his name was, but he played for I think the Chargers or I don't know. But the point is that was it Hassan Whiteside? Is that his name?
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, he is their best player at this time. And the team's garbage. They've got the cool city edition
jerseys. They got Dwayne Wade's last season. They
had Dwayne Wade still. And so, I bought literally 5 Miami Heat Vice jerseys. I'm all pumped or whatever. I've got the white, the black, the pink, the blue, the split one I got recently from, what's his name? Jimmy Butler. So anyways, so I like the Heat at this time, right? And they suck. And then I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'm going to go somewhere else because the team sucks, and I felt like they had no future.
Right.
So I'm like, well, I'm in love with Damian Lillard. This guy is a fun player to watch.
Yep.
So I'm like, I'm going to go to the Trailblazers. And immediately they get Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo starts to, exist, and all of these guys.
Yeah, immediately the Heat go to the finals the season after you are a fan of this team.
Unreal. I was a fan of the Heat, I think, for 2 years, gave up, and then they went to the finals. So
yeah, and so then now.
Yeah, so then, so first of all, I stopped being a Trailblazers fan because their games are on way too damn late.
Right.
We live in Michigan.
Yep.
So then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go back to the Bulls. So I go back to the Bulls, and they are a complete disaster.
Yep.
And Lauri Markkanen's terrible. Everyone on the team sucks.
Yeah, you have to watch Kobe White. You have to watch Lauri Markkanen. Yep.
I mean, the team sucks. So I was like, all right, they've got no future. And so then they trade for Vucevic, which I was like, who the hell even is that? So I was like, this sucks.
Dude, okay, I told you. I literally texted Robert, and I was like hyped for him. I was like, dude, you guys just got Nikola Vucevic. And you were like, who?
Yeah.
And you were like outraged. You're like, oh, this guy just sounds too European. I hate him already. That's like how it came off. And I was just like, Robert, you're Republican. It's showing.
I was just like, I'm so not into whatever's happening. Because I honestly.
You're like, this name sounds too Darko-esque.
Here's the thing. They could have, basically, they could have gotten LeBron James and I probably still would have been pissed. Like, I was just ready to be angry at the Bulls.
You were.
Yep. Oh, by the way, I missed the part where Kelly Olynyk became a Heat player, so he just kept following me. Then I'm like, I'm going to like the Pistons before they even got the first round draft pick because we went to a game and I was like, okay, I love what's going on here. Sadiq Bey is dope, all this. And then they get the first round pick, so I'm all hyped. And then now they get Kelly Olynyk. Not just the first round pick,
they get the number 1 overall pick.
Yes. And then they get Kelly Olynyk, which is why I'm dipping. No. And so... yeah, it's just been a journey of nonsense.
Listen, man, I'll say this again. Kelly Olynyk is our backup center. Isaiah Stewart is our starter.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm telling you right now, Isaiah is actively starting over him.
We'll find out.
He is. This isn't like a we'll find out. He is the starter.
I would like to believe you.
He started all of the preseason games. He is the first team player in practice during training camp. They run together as the starting 5. Coach Dwayne Casey talks about them as the starting 5. This is like saying we'll see if Aaron Rodgers will be the quarterback in Green Bay on a normal season. I just realized that's the worst example I could use.
I like what you're saying, Sean, but you see that ponytail has dark magic in it. That man bun, that evil man bun has just, oh my God.
You know what the best part is?
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you this because I know you're going to get upset.
Mm-hmm.
Pistons Twitter's really liking him so far.
I've seen. I hate you all, to be honest with you. I can't. We're gonna move on.
Yeah, so that's Robert's basketball journey in a nutshell. I feel good that we got that. I felt like that was a topic we needed to do almost right away, just to say, hey, this is who you are.
I'm essentially a Bulls Pistons fan all at the same time, which is like basically sacrilege, but like fuck you, I don't care. So it is what it is.
If there was like a tagline on your tombstone, it would say basically sacrilegious. Fuck you, I don't care.
Yeah, 100%. It'd just be, I really couldn't care less what you think of my fandom. Mm-hmm. And listen, if either team wins a championship, you'll know that I've been there through the thick and the thin. I've been there through the broken Isaiah Thomas hips.
At the end of the day, you'll be the winner no matter what.
Yeah. We're going to move on to just a very quick segue of the NHL, just because I have to bring it up since it's on now.
As of the night of recording, it's night 1 of the NHL.
Yeah, when this releases, actually, our hometown Red Wings will be playing the Lightning, which is... we'll see. But right now, the Penguins are playing the Lightning, and then my Vegas Golden Knights will be playing the brand new Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, we get our first crack at the longest running rivalry in the NHL tonight.
Did you say crack on purpose for it to be like a Kraken thing?
No, that was God.
I think I just am going to die right now is what's going to happen. I just don't want any parts of this. There's 2 minutes and 49 seconds left in the first period, and it's still nothing. So you can kind of timestamp where we're at. But that's going to lead me right into the NBA of 2 big topics that I'd like to talk about.
Ah, yes.
And that is the man that I was just talking about that I didn't like very quickly on my Boston Celtics. I'm going to say my before every team, basically, because they're all mine. Except like the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Lakers.
Those are the 2 teams we'll let you claim. The Cavaliers will be your number 1. Your Cleveland Cavaliers.
No, my God. So I would like to talk about Kyrie Irving, speaking of the Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
And this man is the most confusing man in America other than Kanye West.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is he's actually way worse because Kanye borderline lets you know what the hell he's talking about or what he's trying to achieve.
Right.
But Kyrie, the thing of it is he's constantly talking about like social justice or this or that. He always seems like he's fighting for a cause or whatever, right?
Right.
But he never tells you what the hell that cause is. Ever.
Well, and not only that, but also he feels the need to be Here's what I would say about Kyrie Irving. He's the smartest guy in the room.
Yes.
That doesn't know anything about the topic
and never tells you what the topic is.
He's the smartest guy in the room that's doing a book report on a book that he never read. Yes. And he'll never tell you the name of the book.
Ever. It's unbelievable because, like, I love Colin Kaepernick. Now, I haven't exactly, like, spent a lot of time on what the hell he's been doing lately.
Right.
But, like, what he did in the NFL to start the conversation and whether you think he did enough or not is completely irrelevant because of essentially he was one of the first people to kind of get Black Lives Matter started as a larger topic that has carried on to be even more relevant today than it was then.
Yeah, he made corporate America pretend to care about racism.
Well, first they were all against him, which, by the way, I won't forget. Like, the fact that corporate America was so obviously against him and condemning him, and now all of a sudden they have shit like end racism in their bio, which is hilarious because I'm like, y'all hated him. And then some of them even have turned around and they'll be like, yeah, Colin Kaepernick, what a king, you know? And I'm like, you literally hated him.
Yep. Y'all, you are the same guys that wouldn't get him a paycheck.
Unbelievable. But Kyrie is so not him in every single way because he left the team for personal reasons and no one knew if it had anything to do with the George Floyd thing whatsoever. No one had any idea what he was doing behind the scenes. If he was doing great things and a lot of, like, community outreach, awesome. Like, thank you, Kyrie. That's amazing. But, like, and he doesn't necessarily have to tell us about those things. That can be a private matter that he's just doing because it means a lot to him. But when he comes out and acts like a cocky douchebag who's the smartest guy in the room, he won't tell you what's going on. He's Mr. Secret Agent. Just, you don't understand me and my causes, and it'll all come to light someday. This shitty, like, Batman attitude doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for the team, certainly. And all of this anti-vax shit is really not helping.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So now it's not even like he's on a pedestal on a cause. He's just like, I just want my privacy and I just want people to respect my privacy. But the thing is if you go, because it doesn't take much investigative journalism. All you have to do on Instagram to see what people like. If you leave that public, it's public. People can go look.
Yeah.
And so it clearly didn't take someone very long to see that Kyrie was liking conspiracy theory stuff regarding the vaccine and about how the vaccine is trying to enslave black people. And it's like, it's just, listen, man, like
the fact that he was like a flat earther already should have told us that this was going to be his trajectory.
Yeah. And
but it sucks because, like, he's actively hurting the team in the same way that Tyler Bertuzzi is, you know, not making things easy for the Detroit Red Wings.
Right.
Out all last season with back issues and various things and stuff like that. An important piece for this growing young core for the Red Wings and all this kind of stuff. Right. And now this guy doesn't want to take the vaccine, which is going to not only keep him from games in certain cities, but also he can't even travel with the team to Canada for any of the Canadian games. And very similarly, Kyrie Irving, he can't play any games at home or really anywhere else at this point because thankfully the team did come out and basically say, we don't want a part-time player. We're paying you, first of all, too much money, and you're too valuable to this team to just show up when you want to. It's unbelievable.
Well, I saw this narrative that there are people online that were saying it doesn't even matter if Kyrie's a part-time player. This team will still win an NBA championship. And I'm like, first of all, you're out of your mind if you think that that's the case.
Did it work last year?
Yeah, but and the thing is, people are now and not to, you know, we'll talk about this in a minute because I can guess what the second topic is when we're talking basketball. You know, there was a report that came out just to give a state of how toxic Kyrie Irving's stock is right now. Reports came out. Philly made it very known that they are not interested in Kyrie Irving. So, like, if that says anything, that the Philadelphia 76ers are looking at their situation and comparing it to the situation that's happening in Brooklyn, and they're going, nah, we're good. We'll stay packed. Like, if that doesn't say anything, because, and like, people are like, oh, well, now Philly and Brooklyn could just trade Simmons and Kyrie. First of all,
what a shitty trade that is, by the way.
First of all, terrible trade for both sides.
Yep.
You know, that, as far as schematics, we can get into that. That's just a terrible trade. The only thing I like about it is that it would allow Ben Simmons to creatively playmake and to play a 5 role and to, like, just drive the lane and kick it out to Kyrie and James Harden. KD and James Harden. I'm losing.
It's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm listening.
But like essentially, like there's things about it that are really intriguing, is what I'll say.
Sure.
But what I will say is, even if you make this about basketball, you're lost at the fact that Kyrie might not be able to enter arenas at some point this season, because if you think that these two mandates that we have right now with the vaccine in Brooklyn and in San Francisco, these two these city government mandates that we have,
sure,
they're not the last. I'll tell you right now, they're not going to be the last. Like with the Delta variant still very much about to, like, everyone bracing for what's about to happen with the Delta variant.
It's continuing to grow. I've seen some numbers lately that it continues to become worse and worse. I mean, not like, well, whatever. I'm not an expert on it, so whatever. But it does continue to get worse. But the thing of it is, truly, is, eventually the league might even just step in and be like, you know what? We're not even going to give teams the choice. If you have an unvaccinated player, he's disqualified. It is what it is. Like, I could totally see that. I mean, they're not going to, because the Players Association would have an absolute conniption.
Yeah, and we already got reports it was a non-starter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers, but whatever. Yeah. But
I mean, hey, credit to the NBA. 95% of players right now are vaccinated.
Thank God.
Which is awesome.
One of them Rudy Gobert?
Yeah. If Rudy had to be. Listen, if Rudy Gobert wasn't vaccinated, the hellstorm that would have caused. Oh my God. But yeah, so, to the NBA's credit, they did step up, they did cause that. And the thing is, Kyrie, he's not going to get paid for any of those games he's missing.
Good.
Because people are like, oh, the NBA's mandating it. No, the NBA isn't mandating it. These are actually local government mandates. Kyrie is choosing to not abide by them. And so he is actively choosing to not go to work, to not play. And so I don't blame Brooke. It's the last thing that they had, is to say, you can't play, you can't show up until you get vaccinated. You have the ability to change it, and we'll see if he does. Because he honestly could retire. That's, if I had to tell you what my honest to God gut feeling is, I think Kyrie Irving's going to retire for a couple years. That's my opinion.
I think if I had to guess, I genuinely think he's getting the vaccine.
Yeah.
That's my take. I think he'll do it. I think that Kyrie's been holding out for a while. I think he is firm in his beliefs for the most part. Like, I think he's not like a bullshitter. But I think that he'll finally just stop being an idiot. Mostly because of the fact that I think, as much as he acts like basketball is so second in his life and this, that, and whatever, and he's got more important things going on, of which he'll never tell us apparently.
Right.
There's a reason he's on the Brooklyn Nets, and the reason why he's with two of the best players in the entire league, with a coach who's not even really a coach. He's just sort of there to be a warm body.
Right.
There's a reason. And Kyrie wants to win a championship. I think he still has a lot of ego when it comes to basketball and that kind of thing. And I think that this will push him over the edge.
I hope so.
I think he's getting the shots.
I mean, I hope you're right. But because if you're talking about any other athlete, that would be my take.
Yes.
But the thing is, we're not, and we're talking about Kyrie Irving. And this is the same player where people might forget, literally last year, around, like, at the beginning of the season, at a random point in January, Kyrie just said, hey, I'm going to head out.
Yeah.
And just without saying anything, left.
He did dip randomly.
And go on hiatus for 3 weeks. So, Kyrie Irving is not exactly the one to be known to be the team-oriented guy, the one that's going to sacrifice to put others before himself. Like, Kyrie Irving is going to do what Kyrie Irving wants to do.
For sure.
And so, it's one of those things where, especially, we've already seen his commitment to the game waver. We've seen by Kyrie's admission through likes and through his social media use that his thoughts on COVID and on the vaccine are there's no way to say it. It's batshit crazy.
Yeah.
At this point,
I feel like since he's left Cleveland, his love for basketball has very obviously, and his dedication to basketball has clearly plummeted.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I'm like, a guy whose passion has plummeted doesn't make the moves he's made. Like, at that point, just stay in Boston or stay where, like, I don't know. You don't create a super team if you're not going to try to fulfill some sort of ego trip.
He very much loves the game of basketball. I think that's important to remember, but I don't think he loves the I don't think he loves doing what it takes for the team to win.
100%.
Like because there's people that love the game. Then there's people like Michael Jordan, like LeBron James.
Yes.
Like, because everything I've been seeing, is people talking about, like, man, just imagine if we were in an era, like, imagine telling Kobe or telling Michael Jordan that you were going to have a teammate that was going to be out all year because they don't want to get the vaccine.
That dude is 100% getting traded literally that day.
I literally pictured it. Like, if Scott Burrell was like, I ain't getting the vaccine, Michael Jordan, he was going to run and he was going to hit him with a haymaker. Like, wait, Scott Burrell said what? And, like, he was going to be screwed.
Oh, The Last Dance is the gift that keeps on giving. His, like, unbelievable, like, just hatred for Scott Burrell is my favorite thing ever. I think he truly loves Scott Burrell, but I think he just loved to shit on him.
You know what we're going to have
So good.
You know what we're going to have to do?
What's that?
On, like, the 2-year anniversary of The Last Dance, we should do, like, a retrospective. Like, we should do, like, an in review and, like, watch back and just have a podcast series where we just talk about it episode by episode. That'd be fun.
We should definitely do that. You know, the last thing I'll say about Kyrie essentially is that I don't know whether or not this helps or hurts the Brooklyn Nets' chances at success this year because you're losing everything that Kyrie brings, which is an amazing basketball player, obviously. However, you're also losing a whole bunch of distraction if he's just done and retires or whatever. And that kind of just allows you guys to focus on, okay, it's KD and James Harden. Can we just do this together?
Well,
I mean, they can.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. If he ultimately decides not to come back, now they're going to have cap space.
Absolutely.
And the buyout market at that point, like, everybody would be scrambling to get to the buyout market. And you know, they don't have the assets to make any trades for any other players, and there's no one that's going to take Kyrie Irving right now.
No.
Because even if Philly isn't going to take him, no one's going to take him.
Nobody's going to take him.
So, you know, the only way that he has any form of trade value is if it is known that he is vaccinated. But he's also said if he plays anywhere other than Brooklyn, he would retire.
I think, like, the 2010 Pistons would have taken him.
I mean, we would have taken anything at that point. We would have taken a bag of chips, and they could have played backup point minutes, dude. But yeah, no, I don't think there's much else to say on it, just because, listen, man, here's the thing. Here's what I'll say about Kyrie Irving. I love Kyrie Irving, the basketball player.
Absolutely. Him on the
court
court
I want
purely.
Kyrie Irving, the basketball player, back, because Kyrie Irving, the public
figure.
image, public figure, like because he is an intelligent guy and he really does care, and like I do see like there are elements of Kyrie that like I want to like him, but dude, like at a certain point you're just a cancer to society, and so that's just where it is. And like, you know, I'm not, you know, like just it is dangerous to say what he says about the vaccine. It is dangerous, just some of the things he's doing, and also as a fan it gets pretty freaking old. Like, we want to see you on the court. And
is this his third or fourth year with the Nets?
This is his third.
3 years with the Brooklyn Nets in a team that was supposed to be a dynasty that already has 2 championships by now, and they have nothing to show for themselves.
Well, yeah, but in fairness, very first year, Kevin Durant was out all year. That was known. And Kyrie Irving was out for like more than half the year, and then COVID happened.
Was he hurt, or was he just chilling?
He was hurt, and then he was kind of chilling.
I was going to say, I think he was just vibing.
I mean, listen, there was nothing going on.
Kyrie was on.
I mean, he totally could have gone to the bubble. He chose not to.
What a piece of shit. No, but I'm just over it with Kyrie in general. Like, if he was on my basketball team, I'd be so pissed. I will say this, though. I absolutely love the chaos and turmoil there, because I do have a bet with Sean on whether the Brooklyn Nets or the Lakers will make it farther this season. So whichever team literally does better, like whether the Lakers make the final and the Nets don't, or even if the Nets miss the playoffs and the Lakers make the playoffs, whatever.
Yep.
However far they go, whichever team is better and makes it further, you know, one of us wins. He's betting on the Nets. I'm betting on the Lakers.
Yep.
And basically, it's just a T-shirt bet. Is all it is, really.
I'd still make my bet, by the way.
I'm sure you would.
I would still make that bet.
This guy's an idiot. So that segues us into another idiot, and his name is Ben Simmons.
Oh, Ben.
And he can't shoot a basketball. I mean, he can in practice, I guess, but he can't in a game.
Yeah, dude. On Instagram,
he's amazing.
Yeah.
Goat.
And in the DMs of a Jenner,
dude,
Goat.
He'd be a great YMCA guy. But like a real NBA game, yeah, I don't know what his deal is, but that situation is hilarious to me in a lot of ways because they're really doing an Aaron Rodgers with him. They're just kind of like, well, we're not letting you go. Like, you're a valuable asset to us, and we're not going to just let you bully us into it. Which, by the way, I love this trend.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. The
Yeah.
fact that the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia 76ers are standing up to these players who, as of late, have had way too much control. I love players having control. I love that their employers can't just, screw them over and all this kind of stuff. All that's all well and good. But at the same time, you can't have diva players destroying franchises with a ton of people's jobs, livelihoods, and everything at stake. You can't just have a guy ruin that just because he feels like it.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, you have a franchise in the Philadelphia 76ers, and you're looking at this like, okay, so let me get this straight. You're the one that passed up the layup at the end of that game. You're the one that shot 30% from the free throw line in the playoffs. You're the one that knew that your jump shot was what we wanted you to get fixed and how we wanted you to get better. You're the one that the fans are booing. You are the one that have the responsibility for us losing this series, and you want to break up with us? like, listen, I have to pay you $150 million over the next 4 years. We have $8.5 million waiting in an escrow account. Like, if you're saying I won't show up, fine, don't.
Unbelievable.
Because, they were just like, listen. Because the way they did it was brilliant. Because he was like, yeah, you can go ahead. Don't pay me. And the way Simmons' contract works, apparently it's pretty different to everyone else. Because
of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, because, apparently he gets, half of his season salary up front. So, he was scheduled, a couple weeks ago. Or, last week, he was supposed to receive a payment of $8.5 million. And if he didn't report...
Can I report and get that money?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, literally, for real. Yeah, because we're going to play as much basketball this season for the 76ers as he is.
Absolutely. I'll report to camp. I'll look great. I am out of shape. I have no skill. I cannot shoot a basketball.
Hey, check.
I am Ben Simmons.
Dude, imagine if Ben Simmons shows up and he found the James Harden suit that he wore when he was with the Rockets. We get a Kimbo Slice looking Ben Simmons.
That is still my favorite thing that ever happened, by the way.
Oh yeah.
The fat James Harden is awesome.
Legendary, iconic. But yeah, so now last night as of this recording, Monday night, we get
Today is Tuesday.
Today is Tuesday as of in our world it is Tuesday.
Yeah.
In your world
it's
Thursday. We get the likes of this man just showing up outside the organization's building.
They didn't even know.
While they're playing a preseason game. This man came to get his stuff from the bathroom while their family was over.
This ex-girlfriend literally showed up to clean out her drawer and pick up her old records and her Ugg boots while the family's over and the new boyfriend's eating chicken.
Yeah, right during the baby shower of one of their siblings. They just come to the back door. No, it's fine. I'll just grab my things and go.
Unreal, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, just give me my COVID test. I'll just sneak out of here. So if for whatever reason Ben Simmons plays a game, because that's kind of where we're at now. We're waiting to see what's going to happen.
I was just going to say, what do you think, genuinely, what, if you had to make a call, what do you think is happening with him? Is he there because he's giving up and he's going to just show up and play through this last year? Or, what the hell's he doing?
So, what's going to happen now is, this is just an idea of the organization and Ben Simmons haven't had communication since July.
Is this his last year on his contract?
No.
How many does he got?
This is his second year on his contract.
How long's the contract?
This is his second of 5 years on his contract. This thing was just signed, sealed, and delivered a year and a half ago. So this is the beginning of a contract, of a max contract. And so now Ben Simmons really only has one clear option, which is to show up. And now they have to have a conversation about what they're actually going to do. And my gut says Ben Simmons might play in some games here and there. They're probably going to try to keep him out of Philly to start. I'd imagine that he would play in away games, try and get some good stats up before coming home. But, because it is... Fans were audibly chanting "fuck Ben Simmons" last night. They were chanting "fuck Ben Simmons."
No, they were saying thank you, or they were saying "Let's go, Brandon." That's what they were saying.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Yeah,
I have stuff to say about that afterwards.
They were even saying it at a wrestling show, like at AEW, like last week. They were like at a random event. They were just like, "Oh yeah, speaking of." Fuck Ben Simmons! Like, it was just on the mind.
That's amazing. Can I explain a little bit, just very briefly, the Let's Go Brandon?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, oh my God, I hate it so much. So, what obviously the fans were actually chanting was fuck Joe Biden because it was a bunch of drunk rednecks at a Talladega race for NASCAR.
You mean the new, according to Don Jr., the new tradition in sports?
Just kill me.
The new great tradition in sports?
Just kill me. Yeah, so anyways, a bunch of drunk idiot rednecks at the Talladega race for NASCAR, which, by the way, I'm a huge, massive NASCAR fan. I absolutely love it. I'm not even making that up. I genuinely.
We won't subject that to you on this podcast.
Exactly. So anyways, diehard fan, go Kyle Busch. The point is that...
Again, just look at the winners. Just take your guess.
They are at this race, and it's an Xfinity race, which is this sort of like slightly under tier to the Cup Series. And this guy, Brandon Brown, who is a fan favorite who had never won a race before, wins because it got too dark and there was not lights at the track, and he was in first place when they decided to just call the race. There wasn't that many laps left to go anyways. They just called it. So he's on the front stretch. He's being interviewed, and everyone's excited and stuff like that. And the crowd, for whatever reason, is doing the fuck Joe Biden thing. And the idiot-ass reporter decides to say, oh, they're chanting, let's go, Brandon. And so the Republicans, of course, see this, and they're like, that's not what we were saying, idiot. And so then they thought it was so funny and clever, so now they have fucking T-shirts that say, let's go, Brandon, and all this stuff.
Oh, my gosh.
They totally ruined and stole this poor kid's win, but the good news is that he's totally taking it in stride. He hasn't made any political statements whatsoever, but he's using this to be like, yeah, I'm famous, this is awesome, and trying to get sponsorship. Because
good for Brandon.
Him and his dad started this team. Like, they sunk all of their family's money into this team, and they're trying to get it to work, and they have had so little sponsorship and have had no luck being able to fund this team. So he's trying to lean into this as best he can and just try to get some quick money. And hey, I can't blame him because racing is extremely expensive. So
hey, you know what, man? Do your thing.
Good for him.
Yeah,
but
do your thing.
Anyways, that's what that is. But yeah, Ben Simmons, back to that idiot. Yeah, the team doesn't want him there. The fans don't want him there. And the thing is, like...
Well, that's not necessarily true. The team wants him there. That's the thing. The team doesn't have any plans of moving on from him. And if they do...
They want everything. Yeah, they want Dame Lillard with 4 first-round unprotected picks.
The last offer that they said that they would take was C.J. McCollum and 3 first-round picks.
Hilarious.
I wouldn't trade 1 first-round pick right now for Ben. Well, okay, that's not true, but... I certainly...
Not one of ours, right? And by ours, I mean the Pistons.
No! Okay. Heck no!
Okay, good.
God, no. Oh, wow, that made me scared even thinking about that. But, yeah, we're definitely...
Ben Simmons in a Pistons uni.
All these people that keep talking to me about, you know what the Pistons should do, Sean? Why not? Why not get it? Why not just kickstart this rebuild, get Ben Simmons? I'm like...
What position does he play?
Yes.
Is he a center?
So,
can we trade him for Kelly Olynyk?
So,
I just don't want Kelly Olynyk.
Technically,
yes.
Technically, he's a point guard. However, he should. Here's the thing about Ben Simmons that's so fascinating. Not only does he play the wrong position, he shoots with the wrong hand. And people have been pointing this out for years. This is a genuine theory that Ben Simmons has been shooting with the wrong hand his entire career. This has been criticisms about Ben Simmons since before he came into the league. Jalen Rose has been saying for years that he's been shooting at the wrong hand, because if you look at him going to the basket, if you look at what hand he prefers to finish with at the rim, what hand he prefers to dribble with, what hand he writes with, what hand he, like, you name it. Ben Simmons is normally right-handed.
And he shoots left?
And he shoots left.
I hate this guy too.
If you look at his jump shot, it doesn't look comfortable.
Is that why you can't hit anything?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why you can't, but that certainly is a theory, is that he's shooting with the wrong hand.
Bro, I need a new mic stand. This thing fucking blows.
Can I just say, too, while we're doing this, we can never record this. Whoever decided to sit at stools the whole time.
Oh, yeah, the stools suck. Especially these ones fucking blow.
Yeah, you're
like,
never...
These things move around like a motherfucker.
I'll tell you right now, you're never getting an episode of this set up again.
Yeah, it's going to be at the table.
Yeah, 100%. We got a table.
We got a couple chairs.
Yeah, we can go to a table. We can go to a couch. We can do it up.
We can hit a couple pins.
We got a couple pins.
I'm glad that we did an inside joke that no one gets on the pod.
Isn't that kind of what this podcast is?
Yeah, basically. Oh, Lord. Speaking of which, the Penguins scored. It is now 1-0 Pens.
Heck yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So, what percentage chance do I have of Ben Simmons becoming a Laker and helping my chances of winning this bet?
-5.
I'll take those odds. Those are great odds.
-5%. It goes beyond. It goes beyond any actual ranking.
I'm taking those
odds.
Listen,
the team that's going to end up with Ben Simmons, it's going to be something like the Kings or like the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's going to be.
Could you imagine if the Kings got rid of Fox and Halliburton for Ben Simmons?
Well, here's the thing. His value at one point would have commanded that.
Yeah,
it would have. Now, they would give up Halliburton, and they would give up Halliburton and picks. That is all they would get away. Like, maybe Buddy Hield to make the money work, but like, you're not getting De'Aaron Fox.
No. I love him, by the way.
Yeah.
I absolutely love De'Aaron Fox.
He's one of those guys I just, man, if only he didn't have to play in
That's
Sacramento.
That is literally it. I would buy his jersey and wear it all the time if it was not for the fact that he's in Sacktown.
The worst franchise in the league.
I hate everything about them.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know that they're the worst.
Well, yeah,
they're close. Cleveland's.
The Timberwolves.
Timberwolves.
Well, here's the thing, man. I've told you that at one point the Kings owner openly vouched, like, he was like, why don't we just have 4 guys go back on defense, 1 guy stay back on offense, and then they can just throw it to that guy and he can score quickly. This man...
Like cherry picking?
Yes. This man openly wondered and asked and said to media, I don't get why we don't just cherry pick more. As if that's going to work in the NBA, first of all. So...
That broke me.
Yeah, so when you understand...
My brain shut off. It had to reboot.
So to understand properly just how inept the Sacramento Kings are, at one point, their owner literally suggested to the team, hey, I have a strategy. Why don't you just cherry pick?
This makes the Knicks look so competent. This makes signing Lamar Odom, who was on crack, look like a great decision.
Their first move as the executive was to sign Lamar Odom, who was on crack.
Dude, still my favorite thing. Although Stephen A. turns out total dumbass, by the way, like purposely being like, you know what? I'm sick of being overshadowed by what's his name?
Max Kellerman.
Max Kellerman. Let's take him off my show so that our ratings tank.
Well, okay.
What a retard.
Well, their ratings haven't tanked.
I have heard the ratings have been down.
Well,
I saw an article that they have gone down significantly because they used to be the absolute number 1 show, like number 1.
Right.
And they've been going down a little bit because of Max and him have been together a long time, and so the show started to get stale. I get it. But, like, this new formula of a rotating chair and Steven being alone has not worked.
Yeah.
And by the way, the clips suck.
Well, it really makes like one day you get like one good day a week. Like, oh, Michael Irvin's on, and then it's like Tuesday through Friday.
Jesus, dude, it's brutal.
Yeah.
I think he should have Jon Gruden on.
What better way to end it than to just wrap it full circle and say,
I think they should debate critical race theory.
all right, well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
this has been the Pizza Palace.
this has been the Pizza Palace, man.
Go Knights, go! I hope that they can beat the crackheads. And
Go Pistons, baby.
Go Booze. Go Chicago Bulls. Actually, so y'all are going to get an episode next Thursday. I think we're actually going to record on Thursday because, well, let me
Well, we
backtrack.
can talk the logistics
Afterwards. Yeah, because I was just going to mention
As
some
my cat almost knocked that light over again. Yeah, we're definitely never doing this space
I love
again.
Bishop destroying the set. It's so good.
I'm just waiting for Bishop to knock the camera over. He's looking me in the eyes now as he's about to do it. What an evil cat.
I love it.
Oh my
But yeah,
gosh.
we are going to the opening game for the Detroit Pistons versus the Chicago Bulls.
Hopefully Cade Cunningham's NBA debut. Fingers crossed.
If he is playing, I will be wearing my Pistons gear and I will be a Pistons fan. If he is out, I will be in Chicago Bulls gear and I will be all in on my
this is
Bulls.
how fair weather he is. Yeah.
I will say the NBA is the only thing where I am extremely fair weather, but only because I have not been a long time NBA guy. I'm still getting into this.
You're learning. You're learning.
Yes.
And that's why this is part of what this podcast is for.
That's right. I'm diehard on it.
I teach you something every day. That cat.
Everything else, this fucking cat.
Okay, we got to end this before
gotta
my
end it.
cat breaks it all.
Okay. Yes. Anyways, we love you guys. We do not love Jon Gruden. And, yeah.
We'll catch you next Thursday, I think, from the Pizza Palace.
We will catch you next Thursday. Go Pistons and or Bulls.
Get yourself